And we welcome you to the FedEx Forum here in Memphis, Tennessee. I am Vinny from VW Productions. We have an NBA 2K presents another exciting edition of the 2025-2026 NBA season playthrough here, as we have a Southwest Division match that is featuring the San Antonio Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies. And this is a rematch from schedule block number 1, when the Grizzlies came and beat the Spurs in San Antonio 106-100. We look at the starting lineups here. We see Fox, Castle, Champagnie, Johnson, Wembanyama, the starting lineup for the Spurs, and for the Grizzlies, Ja Morant, KCP, Santi Aldama, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Brandon Clark. So we look at the key matchup, De'Aaron Fox and Ja Morant here, as we got the opening tip here, as the Grizzlies will win the tip. See Morant with it. Spurs at 20-15 in 7th place in the Western Conference, leading to the Southwest Division, but they be in the play-in match right now, while the Grizzlies are 16-19, 4th place in the Southwest Division and 12th in the West here. See Clark, as time is about to expire on the shot clock. That is no good. Fox will get the rebound. As we're 30 seconds into the game, Fox for 3. That is off the iron. KCP will get the rebound. Back over to Jackson Jr. Jackson Jr. to KCP, no good. Castle with the rebound. Stephen Castle to Champagnie. Champagnie, jump shot, no good. Castle will get the offensive rebound. Back to Wembanyama, and Wembanyama will get the game's first points of the game. You see Wembanyama averaging 24.1 points a game. As I said, the Grizzlies play 2 games in schedule block number 1. They won them both. This is the first and only match for schedule block number 2, as you see Ja Morant with the bucket. And by schedule blocks, they go play random games in the first 2 schedule blocks. That guarantees every team is going to be shown at least once. For the Spurs, this is their second time in schedule block number 2. They were only on once in schedule block number 1. That was the game against the Grizzlies in San Antonio. See Johnson coming through. Champagnie for 3, no good. Morant with the rebound here, as we're still tied at 2. I see Clark with the dunk. Brandon Clark puts the Grizzlies on top, as we are 2 minutes into the game. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the like as well. You see Fox at 22 points and 9 assists in a win against Portland in their last game. Wembanyama for 3, that is no good. Aldama with the rebound. The calendar for this day is January 6, 2025. That is for the calendar of this scheduled game here. You see Morant with the bucket. Aldama has the assist there. 6-2 Memphis. Ja averaging 27.5 points per game this season. Fox almost lost it for a second, but Wembanyama was able to control it. He gets a layup attempt. That is no good. Aldama will get the rebound for the Grizzlies. So for anybody who is not familiar with AC, Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3, and 9 straight points for the Grizzlies here. And they're up by 7 here, over 3 minutes into the game. Castle for 3. That is no good. Wembanyama with the second chance dunk there, as that is worthy for the AT&T connected cam. So I do 1 game for every 2 to 3 calendar days, maybe even more. And as you see, KCP with it. Back over to Aldama. Aldama for 3. That is no good. So I play the game, go over stats, do the post-game ticker that is going through the games, results of every game. And you see Wemby with the 3. He has all 7 points so far for the Spurs. You look at Wemby's stats on the road, averaging 22.2 points on the road. Clark, that's an awkward shot, but it's in anyway. That's all that matters, as we're 4 minutes into the game. Champagnie, or no, that's Wembanyama. Fox with the assist there. It's a 2-point lead for the Spurs, or for the Grizzlies again. They had a 7-point lead earlier. See Aldama for 3, no good. Wembanyama with the rebound. Castle passing it back over to Johnson. Johnson, that bucket is good, and we are tied at 11. So as I said, for the season playthrough, 2 to 3 games for 2 to 3 calendar days. Go over the results, go over stats, injury reports, and if there's any news and notes that are worthy, I'm going to go through that as well. 4 on the shot clock. And I will announce the next game as I'm signing off here. We only got 2 more games left of schedule block number 2. 2 teams have yet to been shown yet. One of them we're going to be seeing next game. And another one we've already shown once in schedule block number 1. But going through here, the Grizzlies are 2-0 in watched games. Spurs are 1-1. Aldama back over to KCP. Morant for 3. That is off the iron. Wembanyama with the rebound. And I do other content as well, College Football 26. As I did weekly simulations, and look at that, Wembanyama, 11 points already, 8 of them in the paint. And the Spurs are in the lead for the first time in this, or no, Spurs are back on top, first time since 2-0. Timeout Memphis here, 6:14 to play, San Antonio leading it by 2. We'll take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. And we're coming out of the timeout here. We look at Keldon Johnson, points per game. I mean, he's usually on the bench right now. That's why you see some of those stats dipping down here. Spurs trailing up by 2 here as we see the Grizzlies coming out of timeout. Morant getting ready to inbound it. No, that's Clark getting ready to inbound it to Jaren Jackson Jr. here. Now it's Ja Morant with it. Back over to Aldama, back to Morant. 10 on the shot clock for the Grizzlies. Ja Morant here, 5 on the shot clock. Layup, no, that's a dunk. That is good. That's a jaw jam there. You see Ja averaging over 27.5 points a game here in this season playthrough. As we're tied at 13. Keldon Johnson back to Wemby. 10 on the shot clock. Wembanyama almost lost it for a second. It was a careless turnover here. Fox 4 on the shot clock. Back to Wembanyama with the layup. That is good. That is 13 for Victor Wembanyama. As I mentioned earlier, he's averaging over 24.1 points a game. Spurs back on top by 2. Morant coming through. That is no good. Wembanyama with it, as you see De'Aaron Fox with it. Spurs out rebounding the Grizzlies 10-4. Fox for 3, no good. Wembanyama will get the rebound here. Champagny has it. In on the shot clock, back over to Fox. Fox, big jumper, that is up, no good. Jackson with the rebound. Ja Morant with it here, under 5 to play here in the first quarter. 15-13 Spurs on top. Aldama coming through, gets that shot up, that is no good. Champagny will get the rebound. 4.5 to play in the first quarter. Johnson loses it as Jaren Jackson Jr. will come up with the theft there. Aldama, there's a slam dunk right there. That is another no, that's Clark with it. But Aldama does get the assist though. And we are tied at 15 either way. As I said, other content, we do College Football 26, and right now we are doing Conference Championships. We have the first 2 Conference Championship simulations coming up. We have the Sun Belt at 3 p.m. Eastern, and at 7 p.m. Eastern we have Conference USA. You see Victor Wembanyama, 15 of the 17 points on 7-9 shooting here. Spurs are getting up by 2. 3:43 left of the first. Morant back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. with the bucket. That's good. We are tied at 17. Ja Morant with the assist there. As we have a timeout called by the Spurs here. 3:27 to play in the first. We are all tied up. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. All right, we are back from the timeout here. 3:27 to play in the first. All knotted at 17 here. So we got some substitutions for both teams coming in. Harrison Barnes into the game for the Spurs, the former Sacramento King. and reunite with De'Aaron Fox. Jeremy Sohan with it. Back over to Dylan Harper. One of the first round pick out of Rutgers. Harper coming around. That is good. Dylan Harper had 10 points and 4 rebounds in their win against the Portland Trail Blazers in their last game. And it is 19-17 Spurs. Ty Jerome coming through. Jerome, bucket is good, and we are tied at 19. Spurs shooting 9 of 18. The Grizzlies 9 of 17. You see McLaughlin into the game for the Spurs. 2:43 to play here in the first, tied at 19. Harrison Barnes, 8 on the shot clock. Back over to McLaughlin. 2 on the shot clock. Harper for 3. That is off the iron. Jerome with the rebound. Spurs missing that. There's good. And the Grizzlies are on top by 2 now. As you see the Spurs out rebound the Grizzlies 12-6 as you saw there. See back over to Harrison Barnes. Barnes, jumper, good. We are tied at 21. 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. You see the Spurs at 10 of 20 shooting. Grizzlies 10 of 18. Ty Jerome with it for the Grizzlies coming around, passing it back over to Jaren Jackson. No, that's not Jaren Jackson. Jalen Wells with it. Over to Zach Edey. Edey back to Jerome. Jerome for 3. That is off the back iron. Harper will get the rebound. 90 seconds to play in the first quarter. We're tied at 21. Dylan Harper Jr. misses. Scottie Pippen Jr. with it for the Grizzlies. You see Zach Edey there with the layup. That's good. And the Grizzlies are back on top by 2. 1:10 to play in the first quarter. Grizzlies up 23-21. Sohan coming around with the layup. That is good, and we are tied again. Grizzlies led by as many as 7. The Spurs only had a 2-point lead. That's their largest so far. Here's we're under a minute to play here in the first. Ty Jerome with it. Jerome coming through with the layup. That is good. Ty Jerome puts the Grizzlies back on top by 2. I sound like an auctioneer right now. McLaughlin. As we got 35 seconds to play. See McLaughlin with the layup. That is good. Dylan Harper with the assist. 30 seconds to play in the first, tied at 25. See Jackson for 3. That is off the iron. Harper with the rebound. Gives it over to Jeremy Sohan. Back over to Dylan Harper. Harper, layup, and that is in. Shot clock turned off here. Spurs on top by 2. Jackson with it. Not Jaren Jackson Jr., but the other Jackson. Jackson for 3. That is no good. Olenek with the rebound. And that will do it for the first quarter. Close back and forth game here. At the end of 1, the Spurs leading at 27-25. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to start the second quarter. You are watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. Back here to start the second quarter. Here you see Sohan inbounding it to De'Aaron Fox here with the Spurs leading it by 2. De'Aaron Fox with it. And there is a reaching foul called against Jalen Wells. His first personal foul. First team foul. You see Olenek with it for the for the Spurs. As I said, 7 on the shot clock. Back over to De'Aaron Fox for 3. No good, but you see the lineup set. Jerome, Pippen Jr., Edey, Wells, and Jaren Jackson Jr. out on the court for the Grizzlies. Scottie Pippen Jr. almost lost it for a second. Pippen Jr. for 3. That is off the iron. Edey tips it, but it's going to be De'Aaron Fox coming through with it. Look at that. Fox coming around. Layup is no good. You see the Spurs are 6th in the league right now, 48.4 rebounds. Again, they have 16 already. Jackson Jr. back over to Edey. Edey back over to Pippen Jr. here. Ty Jerome had 14 points in a loss to the Lakers in their last game. Edey, jump shot. That is... Boys, a shot clock violation, but Sohan will get the rebound for the Spurs. Sohan will get the layup, and it's good. Spurs with their largest lead at 4 right now as we're just about approaching a minute and a half into the second quarter. Look at Jalen Wells with the layup there. Another assist, too. They have 10 so far in this game. They are 16th in the league with 25.1 assists per game. They're 15.1 off their average. Fox for 3. He nails that one. And it's a 5-point lead for the Spurs. And if I sound like that, I'm a little bit a lower voice is because I'm trying not to get too loud as it's a little bit later at night. I see Jaren Jackson Jr. with the layup. Memphis within 3. That was the largest Spurs lead for a second at 5 points. Fox for 3. He drains that one, and now this is their largest lead for the Spurs at 6. Memphis had a 7-point lead early on in the game. See Jaren Jackson Jr. coming through. There's a layup. That is good. 35-31, the Spurs. See De'Aaron Fox. Big jump shot. Thought about it, but passes it to Olynyk, and Olynyk very wisely shoots the 3. That is good, and timeout, Grizzlies. 7-point lead for the Spurs. We're going to take a timeout as well. You're watching NBA 2K on VDub Productions. All right, we're coming out of the timeout here. As I mentioned, though, the Grizzlies are 12th in the West coming into this game at 16-19. You see the Spurs in a virtual tie for 6th. They're up by 7 right now. See Jackson, not Jaren, the other Jackson, inbounding it for the Grizzlies. They're trailing by 7 here. Jaren Jackson Jr., both Jacksons are into the game for the Grizzlies. You see Scottie Pippen Jr. 6 on the shot clock. Pippen Jr. passing over to Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3. That is good. 3-pointer for him. It's a 4-point game again. Scottie Pippen Jr. in the loss to the Lakers at 21 points, and we have another timeout by the Spurs here. 8:38 to play in the second quarter. We are going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on VDub Productions. And we are back here from the timeout here. 8:38 to play in the second quarter. Spurs leading it by 4 over the Grizzlies. Both teams led by as many as 7. You see Jaren Jackson Jr. had a 3-pointer just before the timeout. Here you see Sohan about to inbound it for the Spurs coming out of the timeout. 20 on the shot clock. Harrison Barnes back into the game. Back over to Fox. Fox coming around the layup. That is good. De'Aaron Fox puts the Spurs on top by 6 again. Ty Jerome with it. Back over to Jackson. 10 on the shot clock. Jackson back to Zach Edey. Over to Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3. He drains it. Jaren Jackson Jr. with 15 points, 10 of them here in the second quarter. Grizzlies within 3. Wemby with it. Back over to Dylan Harper. Harper back over to Wembanyama. 6 on the shot clock. Wemby 4-2. That's 17 for him. Ja Morant back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3. No good. Wembanyama. And that looks like that's a shooting foul called against Jaren Jackson Jr. here. As we look at the rebounding edge, 18-9 in favor of the Spurs. De'Aaron Fox at the line shooting 2 here. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like and don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as hit the bell icon and receive notifications when these videos do pop up here. Letting you know right now, this week I'm going to complete schedule block number 2 as we got 2 more games left of schedule block number 2. Unfortunately, this might take a little bit of a hiatus. You see Fox hits them both, and the Spurs are back on top by 7. Are back up by 7. That is their largest lead. Matches their largest lead. Morant back over to Edey. Edey with the slam dunk. Zach Edey with 5 points with 4 points in this game, and it's a 5-point game again. Wemby coming through. Looked like he traveled for a second. He gets that in. That's 19 for him. Spurs up by 7 again. Ty Jerome coming through. Get back over to Jackson. Just signed to John Morant. Morant back to Jackson here. 7 on the shot clock. Jackson for 3. Jackson will drain that one. It's a 4-point game again. Harper passing it back over to Sohan. Jeremy Sohan passing it back over to De'Aaron Fox. 12 on the shot clock. Wemby, deep 2. That is no good. Jaren Jackson Jr. with the rebound. Ja has it. Morant coming through with the layup. That is good. And the Grizzlies are within 2. Ja Morant with 8 points. As we're halfway through the second quarter here. 46-44, Spurs on top. Fox coming around with the dunk. 12 points for De'Aaron Fox here. Puts the Spurs on top by 4. Morant back over to Jackson. Jackson back to Zach Edey. Edey coming through. That's a nice layup there. Once again, the Grizzlies within 2. Under 5.5 to play here in the second quarter. Barnes back to Wembanyama. Back over to Fox. Harrison Barnes had 11 points in a win against the Portland Trailblazers. Here's the Edey with the rebound. And that is a careless turnover there. Spurs ball. San Antonio upcoming schedule. They're home to the Lakers, and they're on the road at Boston, at Minnesota, then at OKC. That's for their next 4 games as we have substitutions being made. 5:02 to play in the second quarter. Johnson over the Fox. Over to Stephen Castle. Back over to Johnson. Johnson to Fox. Fox for 3. No good. Clark will get the rebound. And there, Jerome loses it, and it was tipped by a Spur. That was Fox that tipped it. That avoids the shot clock violation. 8 on the shot clock. John Morant with it. Back over to Jackson Jr. for 3. He nails it, and the Grizzlies are on top by 3. As I said, I do apologize if I sound like I'm not really getting too excited. I am. Unfortunately for me, you see Castle with the dunk, and the Spurs are back on top by 1. 6 lead changes, 9 ties. The game summary. Both teams led by as many as 7, and we have a timeout by Memphis here. 4:03 to play in the second quarter. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on VDub Productions. And we're back from the timeout here. 4:03 to play in the second quarter. It is 50-49, Spurs on top of it. Once again, I was trying to let you guys know I'm recording this game late at night, trying to make sure I do not wake anybody up. That is why if you hear me like a little bit more silently and not really getting too much into the game, which I really am, don't be fooled by it. It's because I don't want to wake anybody up and get yelled at by anybody. See Aldama for 3, no good. Castle will get the rebound. It was kind of difficult for me during the Thanksgiving weekend to see Johnson for 3, no good. Wembanyama with the slam dunk. That's 21 for him. And the Spurs back on top by 3. 3.5 to play in the second quarter. Back over to Pippen Jr. Back to Morant. Oh. 7 on the shot clock here. John Morant with it. Morant for 3. That is off the iron. Castle will get the rebound. Over to Harper. Dylan Harper for 3. He nails it. Spurs extend their lead up to 6. As I said, they led by as many as 7. Both teams has led by as many as 7. Pippen Jr. coming through. Jump shot, no good. Wembanyama with the rebound. Back over to Dylan Harper, the son of former NBA player Ron Harper. Champagne back over to Castle. 9 on the shot clock here. Stephen Castle with it. Over to Harper. Harper for 3. He nails that one. The rookie from Rutgers with back-to-back threes. It's a 10-0 run for the Spurs, and they now have their largest lead at 9. Morant for 3. And the drought will continue for the Spurs. No points in the last 2 minutes and 22 seconds here. 2 minutes to play. Keldon Johnson. That is good. 12-0 run now, and it's an 11-point lead for the Spurs here. Under 2 minutes to play until halftime. Scottie Pippen Jr. back over to KCP. 17 on the shot clock. Back to Scottie Pippen Jr. has it. Being guarded by Castle. Castle, who won a national championship with UConn. You see in guarding Scottie Pippen Jr., that is no good. Wembanyama. Spurs out rebounding the Grizzlies 24-12 right now. Harper back over to Champagne, back over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama back to Castle. Castle for 3. No good, but Wembanyama with the offensive rebound and a slam dunk. That's 23 points for Wemby. And it's a 14-0 run now for the Spurs, and they're up by 13. Morant for 3. And the drought will continue. Ja, 8 points on 4-10 shooting and 5 assists. You hear the crowd groaning as we're under a minute to play till halftime. Dylan Harper, but it's stolen by KCP. Over to Pippen Jr. Pippen Jr. and Pippen Jr. will get the offensive rebound, and he's going to go to the line as Victor Wembanyama called for the foul. 34.3 to play until halftime.
At the line for Memphis, Pippen. 2 shots.
Said you got a lot of former NBA players having their children playing here. I said you got Scottie Pippen Jr. His brother plays for Cal Berkeley. As teammates with Stephon Marbury's son. As you see, Pippen Jr. will end the drought. That ends that 14-0 run. And that nearly 3.5 minute drought. And he sinks them both. Grizzlies within 11. 30 seconds left until halftime. Julian Champagne with it. Back over to Dylan Harper. Harper for 3. That is no good. And as I mentioned, Dylan Harper is the son of Ron Harper, the rookie from Rutgers. Clark with it. With under 10 to shoot on the shot clock. Clark coming through. Bucket is good. It's single digits again. Wembanyama with it. Has 23 points in this first half, coming through with it. There's a bucket. That is good. He has 25 points. And that's where we're going to go to halftime. As we head to halftime here. A 16-4 run by the Spurs puts them up by 11. As we head to halftime, I am Vinny from V-Dub Productions. You're watching NBA 2K on V-Dub Productions. We'll see you guys in the second half. Back here in Memphis, we're getting ready to start the third quarter here. As I said, the Spurs ended the half on a 16-3 run, or 16-4 run to go up by 11 going into halftime. Led by as many as 13. They're up by 11 right now. They see Johnson with it. Over to Champagny, Fox, Castle, Wembanyama, Champagny, and Johnson, the starting five for the Spurs. I believe starting five for both teams out there. That's a miss for as KCP will grab the rebound. Back over to Morant. 14 to shoot on the clock. John Morant. Back over to Aldama. Back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. Back over to Aldama. Back to Morant. Morant. Big jump shot there. No good. Wembanyama will get the bucket there. Johnson with it here. If you're enjoying what you're seeing right now, please leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon. I see Wemby. That is in and almost in and out, I should say. Hit the iron, but didn't quite go in. Morant. Oh, wow. That's a miss there. Over a minute into the third quarter, and we have no score in the second half, but Champagny makes sure that's not gonna. We're not gonna have a scoreless third quarter here, and the Spurs are back on top by 13 here, as that is an AT&T connected Cam Worthy dunk there. Clark passing it back over to John Morant. So we're a minute and a half into the third quarter here. Brandon Clark has it. 8 on the shot clock. Back over to Morant. Morant for 3. He nails it. John Morant had 8 in the first half. Add that 3-pointer, and now he has 11. As you see, Fox with it coming through. Back over to Johnson. Johnson. That is off the iron. No good. And who is it? That's Jaren Jackson Jr. with the bucket there. Champagny with it. See De'Aaron Fox coming through. And that is good. De'Aaron Fox puts the Spurs back on top by 10. Or back up by 10. I don't have any. Sorry about that, guys. I keep getting people who rudely interrupt me. This is like the third time. I thought people were going to be going to bed by now. It's like the third time I'm trying to record a game and they just don't want to leave me alone. I see De'Aaron Fox with it. 16 points in this game, 8 of them in the paint here. Spurs up by 10 again. Aldama has it. Back over to John Morant here, 10 on the shot clock. Morant to Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3. That is off as Wembanyama will get the rebound. Stephen Castle. Back over to Johnson. Keldon Johnson. That is no good. Clark with the rebound. Aldama has it. Back over to Caldwell Pope. KCP for 3. No good. Champagny will get the rebound. As we see coming around there for De'Aaron Fox, no good. John Morant with the rebound. Back over to Aldama. Back over to Morant. Morant coming through with it. Layup, and that is good. John Morant puts the Grizzlies within 8 again. See Fox passing it over to Champagny. Champagny with the layup, and that is good. Julian Champagny. And the Spurs up by 10 again. See Jaren Jackson Jr. with it. Back over to John Morant. Morant, that is good. Grizzlies within 8 again. As we're approaching 7 minutes of play here in the third quarter from the FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. Johnson Pass it over to Champagne. Fox. There's Johnson for three. That is no good. And Jaren Jackson Jr. with the rebound. John Morant. Got over to KCP. Being guarded by Stephon Castle. Back over to Clark. Clark coming through. Back over to... Well, that was Aldama. Back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. Morant has it now. Morant with the layup. That is no good. De'Aaron Fox with the rebound. As you see, there's a three-pointer by Stephon Castle, and the Spurs on top by 11 again. Look at the rebounds. 31-20 edge for the San Antonio Spurs. As Morant loses it, Fox will get the theft. Fox coming around. Fox with the layup. That is good. De'Aaron Fox with 18 points in this game, and the Spurs once again match their largest lead. Brandon Clark. Back over to Caldwell Pope. Back to Aldama. Back over to Morant. Morant with a jump shot. That is no good. Champagne with a rebound here. 5:20 to play in the third. Back over to Johnson. Johnson for three. He nails it. And the Spurs with their largest lead on a 14-6 run over the last 5 minutes and 38 seconds. And it's a 16-point lead for the Spurs now. Morant for three. No good. Wembanyama. Give back over to Castle. Castle back over to Johnson. Johnson back to Wembanyama. Wembanyama for two. He drains it. That might be his first points, I believe, in the second half. He has 27 now. So looking at team players coming in now. Timeout called by the Grizzlies here. 4:36 to play in the third quarter. 18-point lead for the Spurs. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on VW Productions. And we are back from the timeout here in Memphis here. The Spurs up by 18, 82-64, 4:36 to play in the third quarter. Got some substitutions being made by both teams right here. Zach Edey will inbound it for the Grizzlies. He's coming back into the game. John Morant still in the game for the Grizz. As we're approaching 4.5 to play here. It's 18-point lead, the largest lead. As you see, or by any team, you see Morant with a layup. It's good. It's Grizzlies within 16. 4:14 to play here in the third. The largest overcome deficit in a watch game was the New York Knicks coming back against the Milwaukee Bucks to end schedule block number 1, where the Bucks were off to a fast start, up by 17 early in the first quarter, and then Knicks is chipped away. See Wemby with the bucket, no good. Edey with the rebound. Jalen Brunson with the winning shot. As you see, Wells will lose it here. Fox will get the steal. Wembanyama for three. That's in. Victor Wembanyama puts the Spurs up by 19, the largest lead of the game. And then earlier in schedule block number 2, see Jaren Jackson Jr. for three. He will drain it. And the Spurs are within 16 again. As you see, the Orlando Magic also here in schedule block number 2, see De'Aaron Fox for three. It's back to a 19-point lead for the Spurs again. Morant for three. That is off the iron. Wembanyama with the rebound. Jeremy Sohan with it. Back over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama being guarded by Edey. But Fox for three. No good. Zach Edey with the rebound. Ty Jerome has it for the Grizzlies here. Ty Jerome, also part of a national championship team, as I mentioned, Stephon Castle with UConn. Jerome back in 2019 with Virginia. See Jaren Jackson Jr. with a bucket. That is good. Grizzlies within 17. But as I said, the second largest comeback was the Orlando Magic against the Indiana Pacers. Coming back from 16 down in the second half. Wemby with the bucket. That is good. It's a 19-point lead again. That's 32 points for Victor Wembanyama. 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter now. 19-point lead for the San Antonio Spurs here, looking to try to get their revenge here. Wells back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. I said this is the second rematch of the season playthrough, as we did have Detroit and Cleveland in schedule block number 1, where Cleveland won that one handily, but then Detroit ended up winning this the last game that ended up with corrupted game footage. I can only just go over stats. See, Jaren Jackson Jr. will get the steal there. Back over to Morant. Morant with the layup, and it's a 17-point game again. Grizzlies within 17. Timeout Spurs, 109 to play. They're up by 17. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. All right, we are back from the timeout here. 17-point lead for the Spurs, as we got substitutions being made on both sides. Scottie Pippen Jr., I see, is coming back into the game for the Grizzlies. Sohan still remaining on the court for the Spurs. Kelly Olynyk back out on the court. He was out on the court for a few minutes. Waters the third now into the game. I believe that's the first time for him. You see Kelly Olynyk, and he's going to lose it here. Memphis ball with 58.5 to play in the third. 3-point contest here. Look at Heald, SGA, Trae Young, Malik Monk, Trey Murphy the third, and Corey Kispert. Substitution again. Who's going to come out? Waters, I think, is coming out, and Jones something. Jackson is back into the game now. See Ty Jerome, he's going to go to the line and count it. And one opportunity for the Grizzlies here. Dylan Harper called for the shooting foul here. With 15.5 to play in the third, that's his first.
One shot.
Some weird substitutions being made here by the Spurs. Jerome makes it. It's a 14-point lead. Dylan Harper has it for the Spurs here. Harrison Barnes on the court. Harper for three, no good. Zach Edey with the rebound. Chance to cut it closer here for the Grizzlies. Ty Jerome. 4-3, deep three there. That is no good. Sohan with the rebound. Shot clock turned off for the Spurs. I believe Memphis will inbound to start the fourth quarter. See Olynyk, he's just holding on for the last shot here in the third quarter. 6 now to play. Olynyk gets a shot up, no good. Edey with the rebound. Jerome, and I don't think he's going to get that off. And that is the end of the third quarter here. The Spurs by as many as 19, but now they lead by 14 as we head to the fourth quarter. You're watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. We start off with State Farm assist of the game. You see De'Aaron Fox with that alley-oop to Victor Wembanyama. As we start the fourth quarter here, Grizzlies inbounding it, trailing by 14. See, back over to Edey. Edey with the bucket, and very quickly the Grizzlies are within 12. You see Jerome, Pippen Jr., Edey, Wells, and Jaren Jackson Jr. out on the court. Start the fourth quarter. Fox, I believe that is Olynyk, Harrison Barnes, Sohan, and who else is out there for the Spurs? You see Kelly Olynyk back over to Dylan Harper. All right, Harper completes the lineup set announcements for me. Start the fourth quarter. Olynyk with the three-pointer, and it's a 15-point Spurs lead. So they led by as many as 19. In that third quarter. Wells back over to Edey. Edey back to Jackson Jr. for three. That is off the iron. Kelly Olynyk with the 3-pointer here. Dylan Harper has it. As you see, Jeremy Sohan back over to Fox. Fox for three. That's a three-pointer is good. That's an 18-point lead for the Spurs. Pippen Jr. That is no good. Sohan with the rebound. Harper for three. That is no good. Wells with the rebound. Jaren Jackson Jr. back over to Ty Jerome. 8 on the shot clock, 5 here. Back over to Pippen Jr. Pippen Jr. That is off the iron, no good. Fox with the rebound. Barnes coming through with Harper. Harper passing back over to Olynyk with the Spurs up by 18 here. 9:53 to play here in the fourth quarter. And it's a 20-point lead for the Spurs. De'Aaron Fox with 26 points. Stick around, though, because when this game is over with, we are not done yet. We still have stats. Then we got the post-game ticker, injury report, and some news and notes. Maybe possibly some news and notes here. As you see, 6 on the shot clock. That is good, and we have a timeout by the Spurs here. 9:26 to play. We're going to take a timeout as well. You're watching NBA 2K on Vita Productions. All right, back at the timeout here. It is 9:26 to play in the fourth quarter. 18-point lead for the Spurs. The Spurs are looking to try to get some revenge on the Grizzlies because the Grizzlies did beat them in the watched game in schedule block number 1, 106-100, and now the Spurs look like they're having their way right now. Grizzlies might lose their first watch game of the season, but we might still have them at some point later on in the season here. You see Harper coming through. Wembanyama with it. 3, and that is less than 3 on the shot clock. He gets it just in time, as that's 34 points for Wemby. And the Spurs hit the century mark in points scored. Back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. Or no, that's not Jaren Jackson Jr. Jackson. It's Gigi Jackson, I think. Either way, it's an 18-point lead for the Spurs. Wemby for 3. That's 37 for him. And it's the largest lead of the game with 21. I see Ja Morant coming through. 7 on the shot clock. Ja for Dylan Harper. He misses that one. 20 on the shot clock. Back over to Barnes. Barnes for 3. He nails it. Harrison Barnes puts the Spurs up by 24. .745 to play in the fourth quarter. See Zach Edey with a dunk. Grizzlies within 22. So we got 20 on the shot clock right now. And that's a tip, and that's going to be stolen by Jackson, I believe. That was Jaren Jackson Jr. that had a tip. You see Ty Jerome coming through with a bucket. That is good. Spurs within 20. As you see, Grizzlies with 10 points off of turnovers compared to the Spurs 5. That might be the only stat category they're winning right now. Unfortunately, they're losing the most important category by 20 right now. Harper with it. Dylan Harper he's going to get the 3 off. That is good. Dylan Harper. It's a 23-point lead. Is that their largest, I think? Edey back over to Jackson. Jackson for 3. No good. Olynyk will get the rebound. Back over to Harrison Barnes. Barnes back over to Fox. Fox, no good. Morant with the rebound. There's Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3, and he drains it. Grizzlies within 20. Fox back over to Wemby. Wemby has 37 points in this game. You see Wemby. That is no good. Edie with the rebound. Ty Jerome has it. Back over to Jackson. Jackson for three. That is off. They see Olenek. Scotty Barnes with it. See Fox back over to Wembanyama. Back over to Harper. Three on the shot clock. Olenek for three. No good. Jackson will get the rebound. See back over to Zach Edey. Back to John Morant. Morant for three. No, that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Never mind. And the Grizzlies are within 17. Back over to Wemby. Wemby for a bucket. That is off the iron. Morant with the rebound. 4:40 to play here in the fourth. Ty Jerome. Back over to Edey. Back over to Jackson. Jackson back over to Ty Jerome. 5 on the shot clock. 4-3. Ty Jerome misses that one. Olenek will get it. Foxwood has the rebound. 4:14 to play here in the fourth. Barnes for three. No good. Jackson will get the rebound. Back over to John Morant. Fourth. That is good. John Morant. And the Grizzlies are within 15 here. 3:45 to play in the fourth. Back over to Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama back over to Fox here. Don't forget, we will announce tomorrow's game after, before I sign off here. I see Morant. Missing it over to Jackson. Back over to Ty Jerome. Over to Jackson here. 3:06 to play here. Ty Jerome for three. That is off as you see Victor Wembanyama with the rebound. Scotty Barnes has it for the San Antonio Spurs. Wemby coming through. That is good. Timeout. Grizzlies. Victor Wembanyama with 39 points. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching NBA 2K on Vida Productions. And we are back here. We look at Victor Wembanyama. He's getting player of the game, and that doesn't surprise me. With 39 points that he has scored in this game. I got to look and see some of these performances. I think it's between him and Giannis for probably the best watch game player here. As we got 2:51 to play in the fourth. 17-point lead for the Spurs, I should say. Morant had it back within 15. The Grizzlies did. For a second here, you see John Morant, 6 on the shot clock. 5. You see 4 on there. Morant misses that one. Wembanyama with the bucket there. Wemby with it. 10 on the shot clock, and Wemby with the bucket. That's 41 for him, and it is a 19-point lead again.
Minutes remaining in the game.
15 on the shot clock for the Grizzlies. John Morant holding on, 2.5 on the shot clock. Morant's going to get through. That is no good. Wembanyama will get the rebound. You see Fox with it. No points for the Grizzlies in the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds. See there, Johnson coming through. Kellen Johnson misses it. Jackson Jr. with it. Aldama has it. Back over to Caldwell Pope. KCP. A minute 20 in the fourth. Julian Champagny with it. Johnson has it over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama, that is good. I think that's 43 for him. Yes, that is. And we got a minute to play here in the fourth quarter. It's a 19-point lead. Jackson Jr. for three. No good. Champagne. Spurs led by as many as, I believe, 23, maybe even 25. I have to relook at that when this game is over with. Wemby. Fox for three. That's in. It's a 22-point lead. Don't know what else to say here, except it's been a dominant effort by the Spurs from start to finish. I mean, I think the Grizzlies had a lead for a little bit in the game. 7-point lead, but that was it. That 16... It was a 16-4 run to end the first half here that put them up by 11. And the Spurs never looked back here, as the Spurs are going to get their 21st win of the season. They go to 21-15. They improved their record in watch games to 2-1. And the Grizzlies fall to 16-20. And their watch game record falls to 2-1 here. The final 118-96, the San Antonio Spurs finish. But stay tuned, we are not done yet. All right, it's time to look at the player statistics, starting off with the home team, the Memphis Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr., 33.6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. Ja Morant, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Brandon Clark, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. Zach Edey off the bench, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Ty Jerome off the bench, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. And it is G.G. Jackson, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Jalen Wells, 4 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. Then we got KCP with 2 rebounds, 2 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist, or a steal, I should say. Scottie Pippen Jr., 2 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Santi Aldama, 3 rebounds and 5 assists. He did not get any points in the game. Jock Landale, John Conchar, Vince Williams Jr., Olivier Maxence Prosper, Cedric Howard did not play for the Memphis Grizzlies in this game. And now time for the look at the victorious San Antonio Spurs statistics here, as we start off with Victor Wembanyama, player of the game with 43 points, 18 rebounds, and 3 assists. De'Aaron Fox added 29 points of his own, along with 5 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals. Dylan Harper, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists off the bench. Keldon Johnson, who started only at 7 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Kelly Olynyk, 6 points, 5 rebounds. Stephon Castle, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Harrison Barnes, 5 rebounds and an assist. Julian Champagnie, 4 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Jeremy Sohan, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Jordan McLaughlin, 2 points. Then we have David Jones Garcia, who only had like that couple of seconds off the floor. Same with Carter Bryant, Lindy Waters as well. I mean, I don't understand that. Luke Cornett, that's kind of weird. No, Luke Cornett did not play for the... Never mind, because I forgot that it took me a couple attempts to do it. Luke Cornett did not play in this one. Neither did Harrison Ingram. And those are the 2 players who did not play for the Spurs. And those are it for your player statistics for this game. And it is now time for the post-game ticker, brought to you by 2K Sports. We start off with Monday, January 6, 2025, the remaining games for the first Monday in January. Let's see, the Pacers 101-81 winners over the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Magic 114-112 winners over the Washington Wizards. And a game that we just watched, the Spurs 118-96 winners over the Grizzlies. The Heat 126-88 winners over the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Lakers 104, the Pelicans 103. And lastly for this day, the Mavericks put an end to the Kings' 5-game winning streak. The Mavs 114, the Kings 112. So we will not light the beam on this night. Now for Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. Yeah, it's Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. And let's start off with those games alongside games for these, so let's not waste any time now. Raptors 109-94 winners over the Hornets. The Bulls 121-117 winners over the Pistons. The Wizards 132-126 winners over the 76ers. The Pelicans 107-104 winners over the Hawks. Magic 102-96 winners over the Brooklyn Nets. The Boston Celtics in overtime. I wonder how many overtimes really it took. 163-157 in a very high-scoring game over the Denver Nuggets. The New York Knicks 125-117 winners over the LA Clippers. The Lakers 126, Spurs 108. Grizzlies Grizzlies fall to the Suns 136-133. And the Thunder 128-116 winners over the Utah Jazz. So the Jazz are on a 24-game losing streak and have the league's worst record at 2-34. Warriors will fall to the Bucks 119-105, and the Houston Rockets 122-97 winners over the Portland Trailblazers, and that is your post-game ticker. As my buddy RJL Network would say, if your team won, congratulations. If not, there's always tomorrow. And it is now time to look at the injury reports after January 7th, 2025 here. For the Sixers, they're still without Drummond, and now Embiid is out. EJ Edgecombe, though, is recovering. He should be back in the lineup soon. Bucks are fully healthy. Same with the Bulls. The Cavaliers are still without Jared Allen and Max Struss. Jason Tatum is still out, but Jaylen Brown's still out, but he is now recovering. He should be back to the lineup anytime soon. Same with John Collins for the Clippers. We could possibly see him in the future. Grizzlies fully healthy. Hawks are fully healthy. Miami Heat, Terry Rozier with that indefinite suspension. We all know why. LaMelo Ball still out another 1 to 2 weeks for the Hornets. Jazz are fully healthy. They just completely suck. Maxime Renaud and Domantas Sabonis out for the Kings. For the Knicks, they're still without Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, but Yabusele is recovering. He is day-to-day. LeBron James now out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken left elbow, and Dalton Knecht, he's out, still out. Wendell Carter Jr., Jalen Suggs still missing for the Magic. Anthony Davis still out for the Dallas Mavericks. That means Dante Exum is healthy, and so will Kyrie Irving, and we'll find out why in a second why that's important. The Brooklyn Nets are without the services of Terrence Mann and Michael Porter Jr. still. Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon are out with injuries, but Nikola Jokic is out with the flu. Tyrese Halliburton, we already know his injury. The Pelicans are fully healthy. Pistons are still without Jaden Ivey. Jacob Poeltl still out for the Raptors. We know about Van Vliet's injury. Devin Vassell, as I mentioned a couple times, he is out still for a while. Suns fully healthy. The Thunder, feel the Thunder. Williams, Hartenstein, and SGA out for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have been sputtering the last few weeks, they got some good news coming up. Michael Conley Jr. and Anthony Edwards are soon set to return to the lineup at any time. Julius Randle's still out for a while. Lillard's still out. We know about that injury. Brandon Bajemski out for the Warriors, and then Cam Whitmore still out for the Washington Wizards. And those are your injury reports for after January 7th, 2026. We have some NBA news to bring up here. The Utah Jazz have fired, as you see here, they have fired head coach Will Hardy and have hired Jacob Underwood to fill in for interim basis for the rest of the season for the Utah Jazz. I said the Jazz are struggling, or saying they're struggling is putting it very mildly. They are just terrible this year. 2-34 and losers of their last 24 games. They have not won a game since the month of November, and now they are into the new year, still looking to end that losing streak. And speaking of the Utah Jazz and their interim coach, Jacob Underwood, we're going to see them next. The first and only time we'll see them in schedule block number 2 here. Probably the last time we will see them unless they're going to be in a spoiler game later on in the season. I can already tell you I don't anticipate having them in schedule block number 3, as I said, unless it's not a spoiler game, but unless I really need to fill in a good team to play against them. But as I said, the Jazz looking to try to end their 24-game losing streak as they host the Dallas Mavericks. It'll be the first time we see Kyrie Irving in a watch game this year. And as I said, Dante Exum also back. Anthony Davis is the only one that's injured for the Mavericks. And that will be out tomorrow around noon Eastern. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you do, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do come out. And also, don't forget that we got 2 conference championship games later tonight. And that is the Sun Belt Conference Championship game. That'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern. And at 7 p.m. Eastern, we will have the Conference USA Championship game. That game will feature Jacksonville State and Kennesaw State. But then also, as I mentioned, the Sun Belt Championship game will feature James Madison hosting Troy. And James Madison, if you've been paying attention to college football, they have a shot at getting to the college football playoff. Could possibly see 2 Group of 5 teams, depending on how the actual ACC Championship game does this weekend. And that will do it here. Reminding you guys the final score: the Spurs 118, the Grizzlies 96. I am Vinny from Vida Productions, and I am signing off.